Hey guys, welcome back. It's a nice sunset here in Maui. Went down and had a barbecue, ripped the cannot use signs down, and did what we needed to do. It was a beautiful day in Maui, Maui. Aloha. Treehouse vibes. This is super interesting. So as an entrepreneur, I have to go online and I have to check my stuff and see what's online, see how I'm representing. And a couple times I always find web pages. I did not make this web page. Somebody made this web page. There's people commenting. It's so interesting. It's good. It's also kind of weird. The internet is a very interesting place. I got my eyes on you. So grateful. I don't use single-use plastics for my water, and I just went and got these amazing pieces. I'm like over the moon grateful. Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to do a video because I've been having a quiet process that I haven't really shared, but it's probably saved my life, so I thought I'd share it. Because this is totally a radical time on the planet, and some may say it's biblical, and in some ways it definitely looks like that's true. But I don't believe it's the end of the world. I just believe we're in a huge transformation right now. And how I got to that conclusion was, obviously I've been paying attention to a lot of things for decades, and so I'm not brand new. But what was new to me was learning about the eugenics and the Agenda 21 and the devil worshiping. I didn't know about any of those things. And so that was really shocking. And so the process that I went through was like months and months ago. This was probably in January, February. I'm psychic, so I always have a relationship with spirit. And I remember being pressed, and I just agreed. And I said, yes, whatever you need to show me, I want to see. I want to see what you want me to see. And so I let spirit guide me. And I think from that day that I said, I want to see, I'm willing to see, it was like 3 weeks and we were in pandemia. And so from there, I just started following my heart and looking at the information, and I talked to people and I found out what was going on. But then there was kind of like a drop or like a break where, I couldn't do it every day because it's just horrible, awful information. And I needed to integrate. And over the months that's happened, at first I remember like jumping up and down, being like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. Like literally jumping up and down, like freaking out in my body. And just going through a process of like, this isn't just on the TV. This isn't a program I'm watching. Like, this is real. And again, I would have to kind of step back and just, do things that were not that. I would have to listen to healing music and just kind of center back into what was usually my life. And so now I can definitely say, like 6 months later, I feel like I'm okay. I've integrated it, and I'm like the freaking conductor of the train right now. I am like driving forward for the rest of my life, totally going to take care of what we are dealing with and what I just found out. So that was some of my first realizations, is like, wow, this is real and this is a lifetime commitment. And then I also went through and just problem solved. What can we do? And of course, I was talking to so many people. I've gained like 500 people on my Facebook in the last 6 months. So I was talking to so many people and learning what are our possibilities, what can we do, what's the plan, what do you hear, what's, everything. And yes, this is going to be a lifetime situation, and it should be for every life. We should be attentive and making sure that our generations are going to last. Then I started to get more focused because I found out, enough about the world powers, and then I had to bring it home into like really accepting what this truth was, and then seeing like who is in my community, where's my community stand, and what can I do in my community. So I did that. So I started a couple pages on Facebook, groups, talked to communities, called people, got connected, and realized that I'm in a crappy state. I'm in a horrible state. Hawaii is extremely corrupt. And that basically we cannot, it's not in our legislation to be able to, what's that called? Recall our governors, but we can petition to have our mayors recalled. But then at the same time, like everybody in my community is at war, so we're not even united as people, and that's part of the plan. That's why COVID is being thrown at us, and all the politics and all the media and all the racism and religion and all of it's being thrown at us so that we can't organize. And so while we're all fighting with each other, they're organizing us. And so I just realized this is my state, and I just kind of got a little, again, I would, withdraw from new information and just use the information that I had, and I would just see what it is that I could possibly do, and I did it. I contacted everyone, I did everything, I donated hundreds of dollars to our lawsuit. So we're in a lawsuit. We're doing everything we can, and it's gonna take a long time, and that's it. And I remember when I first got inspired to write my collection of books, I remember feeling then that they were really going to satisfy the people 100 years after my death. That it wasn't necessarily like what I'm doing I'm going to achieve in my lifetime for me, but that I'm also leaving a legacy for the future. So I was able to integrate all the new horrible information back into my own reality and move forward. And I'm not really having to stay too much like up to date with everything that's happening because it's dramatic. And I already have the goal. We're stopping globalism. We're stopping transhumanism. That's it. We're stopping child trafficking. Like, these are the topics now, and everybody's finding out about it. So it's kind of like that song, John Mayer, and who knows if that guy's a freaking weirdo. It's like every day somebody that I used to like, Gary Glitter. Geez, I used to like that song. Then I find out he's a freaking pervert. So who knows, but that song, Waiting on the World to Change is kind of where it's at. Like, I can only do so much, and I'm doing everything that I possibly can. And yeah, I'm being good to myself, I'm being good to the world. I'm still staying true to, my consumptions and making sure I'm eating organic and making sure I'm not polluting the planet with plastics and single-use crap, and just doing all the little things that I can still do. And now also talking about these other things. So I feel like I've come to grips with our reality, and it's quite the thing. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. That's the other thing too, is like I have to kind of let go a little bit and just relax and breathe and understand that we are going to win. Like, good always prevails. This is always going to be a happy ending. Birth is gnarly. We're birthing a new world right now. So I just go back into the positive information, and I focus mostly on that. I try to stay away from all the drama, all the news, but I did dive in long enough to be able to like reorganize my own thinking, because that was what the whole process was about learning the truth about what was really happening in the world. And so that took me like 7 months, just completely dive into the insanity of our lives and the occult and what's really trying to happen to us. People are really trying to kill us. But I also feel in my heart that like we're gonna be okay, because people don't want that. Nobody wants that. Even the people that are in part of creating it right now, they don't realize it. And once it gets to their front door, they'll be like, oh, I don't want this. So one by one, everyone's gonna fall into the light, and I'm just gonna stay in the light until everyone's here. And that's it. And I'm gonna be a little bit louder about that than before, of course. But that's it, What can we do? Pay attention, pay enough attention, but make sure to keep your vibes in a positive frequency. Don't fall into the trap of all the occult. Even if you think you need to pay attention, we don't need to know it all. We can just, okay, who are our government? Who are the people in charge? You know, just like back off a little bit, make sure your purchases are in alignment with the world you want to support. And then just kind of, you know, live in the freedom and just stay clear of the drama and do what you can to make change. And that's pretty satisfying to me. I'm actually pretty rejuvenated and excited that, wow, I knew I wanted the world to change, but I had no idea any of this was going to happen. So I'm kind of excited because I feel like everyone's waking up and is interested in things that they weren't interested in a year ago. They weren't interested in radical change. And now people are more and more, and that's exciting, as gnarly as it is. So that's what makes me feel better and still be able to enjoy my life. And I want the same for you all. See ya on the other side.